Jürgen Klopp wants Sadio Mane back. Paul Merson has claimed that he would not hesitate to re-sign Sadio Mane from Bayern Munich if Liverpool were made available for the transfer. The Senegalese octagonized his career with the Reds last summer, and he joined the Bavarians for £35 million after scoring 120 goals in 269 games while earning every major honour during his 6 seasons at Anfield. The 30-year-old, now sidelined by a leg injury he missed last year's World Cup in Qatar, has scored 11 goals in 23 games since moving to Munich. Still, Liverpool struggled in the striker's absence and are now at risk of not qualifying for next season's Champions League. They are currently 9th in the Premier League table, 10 points behind the top 4. They were eliminated early from both domestic cups and are facing European champions Real Madrid in the round of 16 later this month. Luis Diaz, Diogo Jota and Roberto Firmino's injuries and Mohamed Salah's form struggle affected the team. Moreover, new signings Darwin Nunez and Cody Gakpo could not fully adapt to the team. Because of this, the Reds have been deprived of a goal threat lately. Insisting that Mane did not get the credit he deserved at Anfield, Merson claimed that he regretted Liverpool's decision to sell the Senegalese player. "I've been saying it all along. Selling Sadio Mane was a bad decision. If it goes on sale again, they'll buy it back in an instant. He was a big part of the team and didn't get the credit he deserved. Liverpool sold one of their best players for almost no money. Now Jürgen Klopp wants him back," he said. Mane's total of 11 goals for Bayern is significantly less than Salah's total of 17 goals for Liverpool this season, and just one more than Nunez's 10 goals. Meanwhile, Mane's departure from Liverpool was his own decision. With only 1 year left on his contract, the 30-year-old player embarked on new adventures. With a Reds squad stuck in the transition period in their absence, Bayern have not been in their best shape this season by their generally high standards. They have drawn all 3 Bundesliga games since the World Cup break and are currently leading Union Berlin by a single point at the top of the table. So if we ignore all this, will Liverpool bring Mane back? The short answer is probably yes. Jürgen Klopp was clearly a huge fan of his and gained legendary status during his time at Anfield. It's true that the types of players the Reds are targeting will not fit their profile, because Liverpool is considering continuing the youth vaccine. But as seen in his willingness to give Roberto Firmino a new contract, Klopp thinks it's worth keeping these old heads around. If Mane is willing to return in a reduced role after signings like Cody Gakpo and Darwin Nunez, this could be an excellent signing. However, from the Mane side, this seems quite difficult, because Mane had reportedly wanted a massive pay rise if he stayed at Anfield beyond last summer. He still wants a key role in a big team and is getting it at Bayern despite his current injury. What he will do with his team for the rest of the season will be very important. It's a fact that if Klopp wanted him, he couldn't say no. Liverpool could capitalize on Chelsea's FFP concerns. While many Liverpool fans were shouting for more investment in January, Premier League rival Chelsea has truly embarked on an unprecedented spending spree. The Blues made a remarkable jump with $357 million last month, and Enzo Fernandez hit a British record of $131 million. Chelsea alone accounted for around 36% of the league's total spending and also recorded much higher spending than the rest of Europe's Big 5 leagues. This is as surprising as it is disturbing. Even Roman Abramovich did not engage in such transfer sprees without any apparent notion of boundaries. Aside from government-sponsored projects, hardly any club can compete with this level of spending. Right after the window, Chelsea now has to face the demands of financial fair play. The Blues are in danger of breaking the rules if they don't qualify for the Champions League this season, according to Martin Ziegler of The Times. Graham Potter's team is currently 10th in the table and 10 points behind 4th place Manchester United. It seems unlikely that Chelsea will be in the tournament next season, and so they need to raise money through sales to balance the books. This is where Liverpool comes back into the equation. One of the top fundraising candidates is Conor Gallagher, who hasn't started as well as he'd hoped since returning from his extraordinary loan spell at Crystal Palace last season. He started just 10 of Chelsea's 26 Premier League and Champions League games and stayed behind midfielders such as Mason Mount, Jorginho, Mateo Kovacic, Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Jorginho has transferred to Arsenal, but the arrival of Fernandes means the status quo continues. Although this year has been depressing, it has retained its fans, including Everton, Newcastle United and Liverpool. Simon Jones of the Daily Mail said on Monday that he likes Gallagher as the Reds are looking to renew their midfield. While Chelsea's need to comply with the FFP will weaken their negotiating position, the sale of a 22-year-old Brit could still be lucrative. One player the club does not want to lose is Mason Mount. He is one of the key figures who has been named Player of the Season for the past 2 years and has started 23 of the 26 games this term so far. Up to this point, only defender Thiago Silva has recorded more minutes than Mount. Mount is nearing the final year of his contract. While Chelsea want to extend his contract, they may have to make a sacrifice. If Chelsea don't agree to meet their huge wage demands by the summer, they will be more open to the idea of letting him go. Even with a year left on his deal, Mount will still generate the kind of money that will go a long way toward alleviating Chelsea's concerns. Liverpool, who are a big fan of the player and are watching the situation closely, could potentially make a move. Generally speaking, Chelsea's spending is a huge source of opportunity for the Reds, especially in the long run. It may take some time for Graham Potter to integrate all his newcomers and arrive at the right formula, but there will be players who will go out of his way to do so. Liverpool may actually be about to capitalize on Todd Boehly's extravagance. Virgil van Dijk and Roberto Firmino are back in individual training for Liverpool. Injured Liverpool couple Virgil van Dijk and Roberto Firmino were back on the turf yesterday at the AXA training centre. Van Dijk has been separated from the team since being kicked out at half-time against Brentford on the 2nd of January. Meanwhile, Firmino has been absent from the team since before the World Cup break almost 3 months ago. But now both are approaching a comeback. It was reported that the rehabilitation of the two players was geared up, while they were switched to individual training. It is said that it is uncertain whether they will join the expedition to face the Wolves tomorrow. It seems unlikely that we'll see Firmino or Van Dijk at Molineux, given that neither has yet attended group training. Still, the return of two stars is a great improvement. He was beginning to wonder what had happened to Bobby Firmino. On top of his injury before the season restarted, his initial diagnosis didn't seem so serious. Despite this, its re-emergence has been consistently pushed back. With no real clarity as to what the problem was, this became a cause for concern. In his absence, Liverpool suffered. It's not entirely due to Bobby not being there, but before his injury he was in excellent form. As a result, perhaps the 31-year-old's contract status has benefited more from not actually playing. Jürgen Klopp has gotten a lot of ideas of what life would be like without the number 9, and that doesn't look good. Maybe it's just coincidence, but a new deal for Firmino now seems closer than ever to a deal. As for Virgil, there is perhaps less rush to get him back. This may sound strange, but the Dutchman's form was also not good for some time before his injury. Liverpool did not do well without Van Dijk on the back line. But they retained their first clean sheet in 7 games against the Wolves and bolstered it with another against Chelsea. With Ibrahima Konate injured, the timing of their comeback is pretty good. A little break after so many games in the last 18 months can give him the energy he needs to get back to his best.